operating on a frequency of 52 megacycles by authority of the Federal Communications Commission. A test program follows.
To you who've been trained technically, I need hardly say that there's still a number of problems to solve. I guess you know them as well as anybody knows them. But I think we've proceeded far enough to justify the statement, at least, that these technical problems are not insurmountable.
I needed made a lot of difference.
They did, exactly.
Right.
Going first and being able to just race ahead with our own checks made a huge difference.
Moving to our blue matchup here, I'll let Woody start us off with a Bitfrost, Succubus of the Skeletal Valley.
All right, so kind of a similar looking KOTE at sort of first glance here. So again, we've got a disruptive dis house with a little bit of removal. A Restringuntus, Succubus, Ember Imp, but a little bit more amber control with the Drumble and the Charette. The removal, I actually kind of like having like 2 Hands of Dis and a 3 Fates as opposed to a Gateway.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of lets you control things a little bit more easily, and you're not killing your own stuff in the process. There are a couple of interesting plays maybe to be had with the Snudge, but we'll kind of maybe think about that later. And the Dust Imp is just nice for 2 Amber. Now on the Mars, this one's like a very differently built Mars, even though there's similar stuff going on with the Psychic Network and Squawker. But the 2 Ammonia Clouds, I think, is really big. That's a really nice amount of removal, depending on what the other deck's sort of effective power looks like. Now the Zookeeper and the Megamouth, you can kind of, there's not a ton of ways to protect them, unfortunately, but those obviously can go off and get kind of ridiculously good. In the Sanctum, Cleansing Wave again, paired with a couple of Ammonia Clouds. So if the effective power on the line's like a lot, the Cleansing Wave could go off for a bunch, which is really nice. Double Gray Monk, which is going to be just giving everything armor, which is kind of an interesting variable, which actually makes the Ammonia Clouds less threatening to your own line, which is kind of nice.
Right.
It's going to be just sort of keeping stuff alive, and a Gorm of Alm for some artifact destruction.
Yeah, always a nice addition to have at the end there. I think that you're right in what this deck wants to accomplish. It's almost better than a board clear to just have Pecky damage and then the Ammonia Clouds to save your own stuff with the Grey Monks. Makes sense. Okay, so moving to the Viceroy Hacker of Dubistran, I guess. I don't know. I don't speak any German, but I know that it means the Viceroy Hacker of it's your turn was the the vague impression that we got. It's the only deck I've ever seen with an exclamation point in its at the end of its name. I love it. So anyway, moving into the deck itself, the Saurian, obviously the first thing that you're gonna notice is the triple failing strike. Really, really love that. I'm a huge fan of just multiple strike decks. It's so versatile. You're going to be able to put Amber on your own stuff, and you'll obviously be doing the damage, but it's amazing when you have 3 how much you can do with just sticking Amber on random things. So it has a Shrix and a Scudam, double Scudam. So you're really, really going to be able to kind of max out the Amber use of the Failing Strikes as well. You also have a Crassosaurus with double Scudam, so you're going to either be able to spend that Amber with a Shrix, or you're going to be able to neg your opponent, potentially 10 Amber with the Crassosaurus. Very, very fond of that Saurian house. Moving to the shadows, you have a Hawk, which is just always good to have good artifact control. I don't think it's particularly relevant in this matchup. But moving on, we've got Triple A Vinda. That can get really pesky with just some hand discards, especially since this deck is low speed. Just being able to get some cards out of hand could really, really help you out. I would love a Bad Penny in this deck, funny enough. But paired with a Subtle Maul, that's really what the Shadows is trying to accomplish. Then we move to the Untamed, Grasping Vines for a little more R, Low Dawn for an Amber Rush, Unnatural Selection does the board clearing. We've got some kind of, I mean, Harmonia can really do a lot against a deck that's trying to board. We're against a deck with 21 creatures here. And of course the Mimicry. So we could see like 1 AM is pretty high on Mimicry in terms of competitive play. You know, it's an interesting strategy because it kind of always evens your matchup a little bit. It's something I'll think about in future codes, honestly. How are you feeling about the matchup, Woody?
Yeah, you know, it's an interesting thing with Mimicry. In this matchup, it'll be less because this coda is more creature heavy and it's got 9 actions as opposed to 20.
Sure.
20 is a lot. But that being said, though, you know, it is the case that if you're mimicking the 3 Fates or the Ammonia Clouds, like you're in that position of, you know, deciding what's getting removed from the board. There's not a ton of like Amber control to be copied or controlled, or like a Control the Weak that was in the other deck, which is a nice thing to mimic.
Yeah.
So your options for mimicry are like, if you can take the Cleansing Wave at a good time, yeah, and then again the Ammonia Clouds. I think Hand of Dis, if there's a sort of a Burn the Witch on the field. But those are really, I see being the big mimicry targets.
Sure. And then I guess like I'm actually, this is a very kind of interesting matchup of 2 teams that brought kind of great and unique decks. So the question that I'll kind of ask you is, like, we have 2 decks here that are not playing like traditional Keyforge in a certain way, right? But if you can see them, like neither one is especially high in expected Amber or Amber control, so they're trying to achieve very different kind of win conditions, right? So like, what is the win condition for your deck, if that makes sense? Like, what is really gonna?
Yeah, you know, it is the case that it's like, if you compare it to the other coda, it's like not as disruptive. It's not capable of like as much sort of like Amber bursty stuff. I think it needs its board a little bit more, and it wants you to play stuff a little bit more. And it's like, you know, it could be the case, like, you know, you're describing putting out the Crassosaurus and, you know, negging 10 Amber or something like that. That's a perfect Zookeeper target, right?
Right.
So it's like they need to kind of get their stuff built and ready, so they can handle that. Because you're right, like it's probably the case you're going to slap a Scuttum on it or whatever. So that Zookeeper could be big. I wish they had a way to taunt it or, you know, protect it a little bit.
Right. So essentially, though, like your win condition is to control board, and then your line kind of goes nuts because of the creature quality, especially in the Mars.
Yeah.
And then the Dis is disruptive. So I wanted to make sure it kind of had that right, because I feel like the 1 AM deck has many good answers to that. With the Unnatural Selection, I think the Triple A Vinda is especially good against like kind of a Mars that wants to live. The Pestering Blow is a really good card against like a John Smith type thing. I play a lot of Mars decks personally, and Pestering Blow, normally horrible card, is so bad. Like if you, I don't know, have a Proliferator that you want to be able to reap, something like that. Of course, you have John Smith and Mega Mouth here. I think that the best answer is the Saurian, which I'm just very fond of its multiple answers to Bifrost here. But I'm just trying to imagine a world in which Bifrost really, really nabs this game. Can you see it?
I don't know. I feel like Viceroy has, like you said, probably too many answers here. I mean, there's a world in which Viceroy gets really bad hands, maybe,
Yeah.
but I don't know how long that'll last.
Right. I mean, I guess like the Untamed. There's a lot of things in the Untamed. I think the Fangtooth is just a great answer. I didn't even look at that. But like, just so you can't stick a John Smith, you can't stick a Zookeeper.
Right, right,
Um,
and they basically need to get that Gorm out early to take out the Fangtooth, because
yeah,
that's gonna be very annoying.
yeah. So I don't see too many ways in which Bifrost can get the game. It's KOTE. You can always grab a game that is not favorable. But I kind of really like the matchup for Viceroy here for 1 a.m.
I think I agree.
Hello. Oh, turn one Western Gunters for Felipe here. That could always be nasty. We've seen John Smith, one of many coming in here, but we see Ludo drop turn one. Ludo is a very nice turn one drop. But we are still going to see Drumble and Western Gunters coming down, and it's going to be Saurians to keep it on there. Unfortunately, not many Saurians left in hand, which means that Western Gunters is not going to survive. Finch Club could be huge, and Simon is going to be nasty here. But I don't think they're probably going to survive that long, so we're probably just going to see the ammonia clouds come. Wipe everything else out. Then John Smith. Then places 6 of many. Cleansing Wave ready to go here. Nature's Call, bounce. Yeah, bounce everybody. So we're probably going to go back into Mars. Possibly even a disc turn setup. But yeah, Mars. Ether Spider needs to be answered. You cannot leave Ether Spider around. But the mimicry there.
I challenge that, but Aether Spider's the saving plan.
Playing the imprinted Mamook. When I know you're going to mimicry the holds the mimicry for the ammonia clouds. Interesting. This could be an overreach here by Felipe. I want to get that cleansing wave down now. Play Succubus. Play Shred to capture 3. Goes into Untamed. Fights Ether Spider with the Rusted Guard. Nice. Fights these many. Then uses Ammonia Clouds to wipe the board. Goes back up to 3, making Cleansing Wave. That's a shame. That Cleansing Wave could have been huge last turn. But we see Snudge and we see Toxin. Then we got a Sergeant Zeagle, Grey Monk, Raiding Knight. This is a nice setup as well. Plays it on wall, plays Avinder, and now we see 5 Saurian cards, but the Crossosaurus isn't going to do much this early. Grey Monk. Felipe probably should have kept Grey Monk on the flank. I don't think he mentions that, because then he can play Sergeant Zeagle. He could have healed up the Snudge. I don't think he mentioned that post game. They should have kept the Grey Monk on the side. Kujaku saying that was a nice turn. It was a really nice turn. We also dropped that Sergeant Zeagle, be able to use Snudge to bounce. Oh, basically bounce everything that needed to be bounced. Question Jata says Strix. We have to Gleam, but this Grey Monk's armor is going to stop the Phallic Strike being able to one-shot anything other than Snudge. Hits Toxin. Unfortunately, not able to kill Toxin, so has to exalt the Sergeant Strix to hit Toxin again. Raiding that into Strix. Sergeant Ezekiel into Strix. Reaper Grey Monk heals Snudge, wants to keep Snudge alive. Plays Francis, plays the second Grey Monk, and then plays the Sigil of Brotherhood. Very nicely done. Felipe ahead on Amber. Key cost is a little bit higher, but that drops back down now. This has got to be an Untamed turn. Your opponent's board's got to weak. Lodon gets up to 6. Very nice jump fight. Kojaku.
And 7, jeez.
Yeah. Don't really think there's an answer here, because here comes the unnatural selection. Keep Snudge on the board. Wow. Ether Spider. Plays Billip. Use Squawker. Ready Blip. Reaper Billip. Play play Megamouth, Reaper Megamouth, use Snudge to fight Gleam, bounce. Oh, bounce is subtle more. I bounce the Jarter, that's just me. I like being causing trick issues. Felipe on 9, but Kajaku does get the first key. Play Centaurian, exalts both. Fights across Jarter Blips, there's only more coming out from this. Plays Imperial Scuttle, that is going to keep the Legionary alive. Phallic Strike, very nicely done. Goes into Sanctum. Reap. Gets to 6. Plays Hard Blaster, plays God of Arm, plays the Commander Remiel. Your keyboard is way too loud apparently. Chris?
Yep, got it.
Cool. No safety numbers doing a lot of damage there. Drop some more, drop Skeleton Key. And that has set up the 3 fates very nice. That's going to wipe out the entirety of Kaju's board. Going to give an extra amber over to Felipe as well. Hand of this is just going to get slapped. And that's Amber Imp. Sacrificial Altar came down as well. Oh, with that untamed hand, the Fangtooth Cavern is going to deal the Amber Imp, but it is going to be a slow turn. The Legacy Nox is probably going to get discarded. We're going to see the Nepatur gets out as well. Rustling Guard's there, but not really going to get much value. And here we see another situation. Felipe just needs to get to 6, and that is what he's seeing. Reap plays Clear Mind. Reap go to the fight. Heals up, gets to 8, and there is no answer for Kajuku here. Susumo gets rid of Dust Imps, play a Vinder, plays the Hawk. Felipe may be on holiday, may have just come out of a KFPL game, but not taking any prisoners. Amber Minimum take this game 2-0 and advance to the top 16.
What a great game. Sorry for the keyboard sound effects.
Very good game.
So that brings us to the end of the feature game this week.